Alright, so for this first session I'm going to look at how to create a surface from the contour lines that you have plotted. So what I have here is I have 5 contour lines. So the first session we plotted this first line with a series of points, and then turn those points into a curve, and it gave us an elevational contour. What I've done is continued that same process through 4 more times and created 5 contour lines. Now I want to look at how I can begin to sort of sheath these lines to form a surface. And Rhino has a toolbar, a surface toolbar. If you don't see it, and it's usually docked over here, I'm just pulling mine out so we can look at it more specifically. If you don't see it here, then either right-click in one of your toolbars and open it up from the drop-down menu. You can also go to Tools, and then Toolbar Layout, and here you see the tools. You can select them from there too. So, with the Surface toolbar, one common way of creating surfaces in Rhino is through lofting, and that means with loft you define a sort of series of sections, or here we have a series of contour lines, and then you loft a surface that starts to connect 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and multiple sections. And this is right here on the toolbar, lofts. You can type it in also, or you can find it under surfaces on loft, second one down right here. So we'll select loft, and then the first thing it says is select curves to loft, and you want to start at one end and then move in a linear fashion through to the ending final surface, final curve. So I'm going to start with this purple curve and then select down the line. I'll say select it, and it gives me some lofting options. And you can see here it's sort of lofted, and we see a surface develop. What lofting options lets us specify how close that surface is being interpolated to the curve. So right now it's normal. I can say loose and preview, and you can see with loose it's not as tight and precise to that curve. Tight, it's much tighter, much falling directly on the curves that I've drawn. Straight sections. Straight section is a straight. Now instead of interpolating, it's just going from point A to point B to point B to C. So it's kind of creating a straight surface that is connecting the different curves that are specified. So those are sort of the 3 or 4 main ways of lofting the different options. I'll just keep it on normal right now, preview, and say OK. And so now I have a surface that I can work with. And the original curves are still there. A lot of times after I loft, I'm going to want to copy, because I'm just going to want to use the surface itself. And so what we see about a surface is that there is basically a grid that's being constructed along that surface, and this is a UV grid. A UV grid is a sort of XY coordinate system mapped onto a surface. So it's a topological grid for a surface. You can rebuild this grid. So the higher, you can go to Edit, Rebuild, and it tells you the grid is right now. The grid is at 7 and 15. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then there should be probably 15 of these. So we have a 7. It's laid out, in one direction 7 grid, 7 lines, and then the other direction there should be 15. You can change this at any point as long as you have a surface and not a poly surface. But you can make them higher, so something like 30 and 30. Then preview, and you can see here now that's 30 and 10. Let's do 30 and 30. You can see here the white lines are showing that it's a much higher specified grid, and the higher your point count, the larger the file size will be for that. So if you want to keep it a small file size, you usually want to keep it down around like 12 and 10 preview. And okay, and so you can see there's adjustments because when I made that change. So this basically covers the way to loft. In the next session, we'll look at how to now contour this surface and begin to think of it as a contour model that you can cut with a laser cutter.